The following is a brief overview of the Agricultural Stewardship Initiative Intake 4 as part of the Sustainable Canadian Agriculture Partnership delivered by Ontario Soil and Crop Improvement Association. This cost share funding is to support the adoption of best management practices that address soil health, water quality, nutrient management, energy efficiency, and productivity benefits on agricultural land across Ontario. Intake 4 will open July 8th at 9 a.m. and close July 29th at 3 p.m. As part of this initiative, OSCIA has the commitment to provide you with timely responses to your application. This means that for the categories of nutrient management and soil health planning, basic energy assessment, and detailed energy audit, in these three categories, we have 35 business days from the time the intake closes on July 29th to review your application. And we will provide you with notification by mid-September. All other categories, we have 50 business days from the time the application closes to provide you with a response to the review process. This will be the first week of October. So keeping those timelines in mind, you have the opportunity to report the project under and complete the project under either fiscal year number 1 with a reporting deadline of February 15th of 27. So that means you can start incurring costs once you receive notification of your approval, and you must have everything completed to us, the project complete, the invoices paid, and proof of payment to us no later than February 15th of 27. If you require additional time, because sometimes projects can take longer than what's anticipated, so you need to build in that anticipation now, because once the application process closes on July 29th, we cannot make adjustments to your timeline. So you need to make sure that you are selecting enough time for the project that you're planning to complete. So have a discussion with your suppliers. Does the timeline make sense for your operation? So if you require additional time, you can still start planning after you receive approval, but you cannot incur costs until after February 16th of 27, and the final claim would be to us no later than September 30th of 27. You also have the opportunity to do multi-year projects, which means you can have expenses in both year 1 and year 2. However, you need to clearly specify in your application what expenses will be occurring in which year. And again, that gets locked in once the application process closes. So we cannot be moving expenses from year to year once your application has been received and the intake window has closed. Each farm business is eligible to apply up to 2 applications in this intake. As mentioned briefly, invoices cannot be received and or paid prior to the start date specified in your approval notification. So this is extremely important because we cannot include any project costs that fall outside the window of eligibility. Who is eligible to apply? So anyone that has a farm business registration number or an exemption letter. A copy of that exemption letter must be included in your application. Again, we can't make modifications once the application process has been closed. So make sure you upload it with your application and give yourself enough time to submit your application that you're able to double check and make sure all documentation that's required is included in your application. Post July 29th at 3 p.m., we cannot accept any documentation. You also need to include proof that you have completed either the 4th or 5th edition of the Environmental Farm Plan. Again, it must be included in your application, and we cannot receive it after the fact once the program application process has been closed. If you have a farmland health checkup, you may be eligible for increased cost share funding through this program. It is a merit-based application review process, which means once the application intake closes, we will be reviewing each individual application and looking at its merit. So each category has its own specified merit for the category, and I will go through one example. So for reduced soil compaction projects, what is considered merit under this category is have you clearly described the details of your project? So what are you currently using for tire technology on that piece of equipment you're applying for? And what are you proposing to do? How are you going to reduce that PSI on that piece of equipment? Is this addressing one of those action plans within your environmental farm plan? How is it impacting soil health and water quality, as well as also providing you overall improvements towards environmental sustainability on your farm operation? We will go through briefly the funding categories. To have an opportunity to look more in depth into these categories, I direct you to the program guide. We will also provide in-depth conversation as to what is eligible under each of these categories within our information sessions that will be live. Equipment modifications to reduce soil compaction is the first category. Category number 2 is adding organic amendments. Please note under this category, you must have at least 18% dry matter as the minimum for the source material you're wishing to apply. So in other words, you cannot be applying liquid manure under this opportunity. And this will be included as evidence in your final claim. We need to see what the analysis is of that organic amendment you decide to select. We also have a maximum limit of $200 per acre. It may cost you more than that, but that is all we are able to fund under this category. Equipment and technology to enhance manure storage is the third opportunity. Basic energy use assessment, or a level 1, is the fourth category, which is very similar to the fifth category, which is a detailed energy audit, or level 2. The main difference between these two categories is they both provide an overview to your farm operation as to where you are in the consumption of your energy on your farm operation. The detailed, as it says in the title, so it's more extensive in its review of your farm operation and how you can make changes towards reducing your energy consumption. So make sure when you're applying, which one do you want? Do you want more just a general overview of your farm operation? That would be a level 1. Or do you want more detailed information, which would be a level 2? You will be providing a copy of your assessment with your final claim. So we need to make sure that if you're applying for a level 1, you are receiving a level 1. The next two categories are also very similar. We have energy efficiency improvements, and we also have large-scale energy efficiency improvements. So the biggest difference between the two categories is under the larger scale, we can help you and assist you with larger projects, where the other is the smaller projects. So with the large scale, you do need to include a level 2 energy audit with your application. Otherwise, your application is deemed incomplete and we cannot review it. Both of them also require energy worksheets to be completed. We do have other resources to assist you with that outside of this information session here. Please do check out those resources and reach out if you have any questions. The Farmland Health Checkup, as mentioned, it is a free on-farm assessment to identify risks to soil health and water quality on your farm operation. It is available to any farm operation across Ontario where you can work with a certified crop advisor or professional agronomist, where they will look at erosion, compaction, organic matter, and soil life, as well as chemistry and pollinator health on your farm operation, giving you some recommendations. From that, if you are farming within the Lake Erie or Lake St. Clair watersheds, we do have additional funding under the last 4 categories, which are equipment modifications to improve manure application, nutrient application equipment modifications, nutrient management and soil health planning, and erosion control structures. As mentioned earlier, costs cannot be incurred, invoiced, and or paid before receiving written approval. Projects must be complete by the claim deadline. Are you wishing to do a multi-year project? Again, with deciding which costs are going to happen in which year. In-kind contributions are not eligible. Before applying, we always recommend read the guide. There are changes from previous years, so we want to make sure that you are applying to the most recent program. All applications are received through our OSCIA portal. Just a reminder, intake opens July 8th at 9 a.m. and closes July 29th at 3 p.m. Please do not rush your application. It is a merit-based assessment. Please feel free to reach out to any of our local field representatives. They'd be glad to assist you in any questions you may have. And thank you for joining us today.